My video started and I got a little pop-up telling me about new features. I don't I don't need to read about that right now. I need to be doing my video. Hi, Sissy. Um, so so here we are, and just a couple things, right? Kind of randomly off the top of my head, but one of them is that every time I go to start a video, I have to check the little button that says to share this with the public, so it's not just a me only video. I still don't understand why I would ever do a me only video, but not only is there such a setting, it's the default setting. So I hope I can figure out a way to change that, because one of these days I'm going to do it wrong. I'll be happily doing a video and people will be going, "Where's your video?" I'll be like, "Oh, I did a video. I just didn't share it with anyone." Okay, I'm putting a costume on this gal. We drew this gal in the Zoom room one Saturday night a week or 2 or 3 ago, and I thought it was super cool. Now I think it's okay, and so I don't mind changing it at this point. Her head's a little too small. I'm using a costume that I used on an older drawing, so I'm looking at a picture of one of my pictures, and the girl was standing up, so I took my picture and I rotated it sideways, and then I'm trying to imagine what it would look like if she was actually lying down, like what elements would change, like those chains kind of, these are chains, we kind of both hang slack like that instead of being even, and then they come down. Got a metal plate thing right here, and then there's a thing that goes around her waist here and here, but then the chains go up like so. You don't really see much of that on this version, and then the loincloth thingy just kind of falls down to the floor and scatters around anywhere. Sometimes I make a really cool design and I'm just like, I might as well use that again. People haven't seen it. I remember when I designed this particular costume, I had found some porn, which I know you're shocked that that would happen, but in a way, it was shocking because it wasn't actually what I was looking for at the time. But I've been rereading Edgar Rice Burroughs' Princess of Mars, and thus and such, and they talk about these guys running around wearing harness, and they talk about the girls uh, well, they wear some kind of harness too, but it's less martial. There's not really a big description, but the women wear a harness and a lot of jewelry, but no clothes per se. Um, so and the men too, just harness and no clothes. And I was trying to figure out what that would look like, and I just, being totally in that mindset, started Googling, you know, that kind of description, and naturally, I got to a porn site, but it was a porn site that had exactly what I was looking for. And so there was somebody wearing essentially this costume, but uh, all biker. It was all big chains and hooks and rings and leather and studs and everything. And so I was just like, all right, but yeah, you just substitute pretty delicate little chains and put little jewelry gewgaws on there instead of a big uh, chrome plated, you know, harness ring or whatever, and uh, and you've got, the basic design, how it fits together and how it all hooks up, uh, pretty well works. So I went with that, and I've gone with that kind of thing for a number of the costumes that I've designed. Um, it's just an amazing resource, the internet. I wonder if any of those models ever suspected that they were helping a guy out with his fantasy art. They certainly knew they were helping somebody out with their fantasies, but I don't think they knew that they were helping a guy out with his fantasy art. Cece says, I missed yesterday's, but judging by the comments, the discussion was lively. Um, yes, it was a rousing time. I've completely forgotten it. I don't know. Yeah, I know I talked about the trolling I got on um, a different group, and yeah, I know I talked about that. And incidentally, I went and had a look at that again. There's a thing that Facebook has changed where, if you're on my page, say, and somebody makes a comment and you're wondering who the hell's that person, you go up and you click on their name and you'll get launched to their homepage. And so you can read all about them. Well, if you're in groups now, that used to be true in the groups as well, but this is what they've changed. If you're in a group, you go click on somebody's name, and it takes you to something that looks like that person's homepage, but it's not that person's homepage. It's that person's interaction with this group. So it's got their picture, it's got their banner, but then none of the about information or all the links or anything. It's just got all the things that they've posted and the things that they've replied to. And so there's been a couple of things that have happened lately where, I've posted something and somebody got um, got bent about it. And it's usually I've never posted anything where like everybody on the group was like, dude, are you insane? Or like, something where like everybody got mad. It was all like 170 people thought it was cool, and one person was just completely bent, and there was a thing. So anyhow, what was I saying? Okay, I went back and looked at that one and a couple others where somebody has said something, and curiously, when you click on them on their name, and you go see all their interactions that they had with the group, trolling me was the only interaction they've had with the group. That's and this one that said something to me yesterday. They've been on that group for a year and a half, and the only thing they've ever said were the two comments that I shared yesterday, um, about uh, the monkey that was messing with my model. Um, yeah, that's been their whole participation in this group that they've been in for 2 years, was to snivel about my work. So that tells you something. Something. Tells you where their focus is, for sure. Um, oh, Sharon says I wasn't bashing vegans, just militant vegans. Um, yeah, I mean that's the gist of what you said. Um, my computer screen's about 10 inches from my eyeballs, and I don't have my reading glasses on, so I only kind of know what you're saying to me. Um, anyway, yeah, yeah, we weren't actually talking about vegans. We were talking about people that have a cause that they're militant about. That kind of person, religion or politics or feminism or veganism or whatever, may all be stuff that I agree with until you say, well, the most important element of my religion is that you're going to hell. And then, you know, what part of that am I supposed to be agreeing with? And there is that person that I had trouble with on the Facebook group. That's kind of their mentality. They're kind of in that. The thing that makes me feel like a good person is the way I'm telling you that you're living your life wrong, that kind of thing. Yeah, well, when I was a kid, I went to church kind of a lot, and not just church on Sunday mornings, but church other days of the week. And sometimes we did uh, go out on Saturday morning and go knock on people's doors and proselytize to them at 7 o'clock in the morning when they're hungover from partying the night before, and the last thing they want is some freaking 10-year-old kid that doesn't know anything about anything to be telling them about Jesus at 7 o'clock in the morning. So what I learned from that experience was that just because you're right doesn't mean you're not obnoxious. Uh, and we were right if at least I believed us to be right at the time. But I did learn that, right or not, we were really annoying people. And after a while, I didn't want to do that. And it didn't matter because I had to go do it. But after a while, I didn't want to do it. And it was supposed to be practice so that I could learn to do it and go convert all of my friends and that sort of thing. On some level, I knew that I was just going to make my friends hate me. So there's this very exciting thing that I want to tell you all about, and I've completely forgotten the name of it. Somebody asked me on one of my other groups, because I'm always talking about sketchbooks, and somebody asked me, "Have you ever heard of thus and such?" And well, I had to go Google it, and thus and such was a very interesting sort of a thus and such. It was a Let me see, there's a Brooklyn Art Museum library, I think, something like that. Um, Something that used to be common once upon a time was museums would actually check out their art like a book from the library. You could check out a painting and take it to your house, and that is probably not done anywhere anymore. I don't know of anywhere that does it, but this this museum library is trying to do it to a limited extent. And what they're doing, it's for next year, for 2020, sorry, 2021. And you pay um, 35 or $65. I'll explain. They send you a little sketchbook in the mail, and throughout the year, you fill the sketchbook with sketches and mail it back. And basically they put it in this library and people can check out your book. And because each book has an individual barcode number on it, you'll actually know how many people have checked out your book and looked at it and stuff like that. And so it's 35 for the basic thing, and then 65 they scan it and make a digital version of your sketchbook, and so it's available to be viewed online. Okay, um, that sounds like a fun thing, and I kind of want to do it. And but I kind of want to combine that idea with a couple other ideas. Um, I imagine I'm going to do. I'm going to do it even if the rest of my plan doesn't gel. I'll do it anyway. Um, but there used to be this game when I was a kid and we didn't have video games. And it was a little plastic box. It was like clear, like plexiglass. So it was a little tray, and inside the tray was another tray, and it had little holes drilled in it, and and then the box had marbles in it, and you had to tilt the box back and forth to try to get the marbles to drop down into the little holes that were drilled to make a pattern like a star or something. And so you had to get the marbles to drop and then tilt it, and then this other marble would be wandering its way across the box and it would bump one of the other marbles out of place, and you'd be like, so you got to rock it, but don't rock it so much that you spill one of the marbles you've already got in place, and that kind of thing. And it's always been a little sort of a metaphor that I realize if you've never played with one of those, maybe it doesn't make any sense to you, but to me, um, ideas are a lot like marbles rolling around in this box. Um, and so Sissy says the sketchbook project. Yeah, but it's like the Brooklyn Museum sketchbook project or something like that. So yeah, I'm going to do it. So yeah, that idea, going and reading about that was like somebody dropped another marble into the box and it's rolling around in there and bumping other marbles, but possibly knocking them into a hole so that they drop together and suddenly there's a pattern. And so another thing that's been rolling around in my head is that there's been this quarantine, you might have heard, um, and I've been stuck at home, and I'm kind of sick of that, and especially since some of that is self-imposed. After all, I can't go to the movie theater, I can't go to the restaurant, I can't go to school and go to live drawing class, I can't do a lot of the things that I would have done. I can't go visit my family. um, Sometimes I can't go to the park because there's too damn many people there, but I could get on my bicycle and ride down the canal, to some place that is not very crowded and sit outside and do, some sketching, or, take a watercolor kit with me. And, if there's some place where there's a cool looking tree or a flower or a duck or I don't know, something. Um, there could be something that I could sit and draw or paint, get me out of the house, get some exercise, get something cool happening. And so I've been wanting to do that. It looks like I'm here for a while, you know. Um, the vaccine thing, that looks promising, but it's not going to be quick. Uh, I'm here for a while, so I don't want to just be waiting. I've been doing this, that's good, uh, but I need to do more. I need to go outside more. I need more fresh air and more exercise and painting. I had been I had been on the verge of doing a bunch of painting excursions before all this started, and I've kind of let all this stop me. And okay, it needed to stop me from some of the things that I was going to do, but it needn't have stopped me from all of what I was going to do. I could just, reconfigure it. So that is something I'm going to do. All right, I could make this sketchbook project a part of that, and even though that's not a lot of money, um, to me it kind of is. When you've only got a little money in your bank account. I've got little enough that um, a $65 expense is something I've really got to think about and go, do I really want to do that? Heck, I've seen some people on my groups say, "Hey, my book's out," and it's only $1.99 on Kindle, and I go and hover over the button and go, "Yeah, but it's $1.99 that might suck." And I don't know. I've bought a bunch of books, but I've been a little worried about some of them. Like, I don't actually know. This guy's a nice guy to talk to online, but I don't actually know that he's a good author. I just know he's got a book out. So, so I hesitate sometimes. I hesitate. So yeah, joining that thing. I mean, it's not like it's going to make me money, and you know, even if it made me famous, that's not actually worth anything to me either. That's because I don't have any ambitions right now, really. I just want to go paint. Um, there was a time when it was like, okay, but yeah, the fame could bring me more work, or something like that. Well, I'm not there anymore, so might bring me more likes on Facebook. I guess that's good. In and of itself, it's not really a driving motivator for me. Sissy says, "Oh, there's more. There's more comments up there. They're way up there." Um, you're right. It's just called the Sketchbook Project, and there's a link. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that is the link. Um, Sharon says, "Me too. If we could just stop burning the state down." Yeah. getting out and exercising, hiking. I have to drive to hike, which is sort of okay, but I shouldn't drive too far. Yeah. Well, we're so far not having that problem. But in Phoenix, everything is a far drive from everything else. But that's a lame excuse for me. I mean, you're a serious hiker, so it's a lame excuse for me to say, well, I can't get out to Prescott or something like that. Um, that's stupid. All I need to do is get on my bike and go to the park that's right down the road. I'm someplace I haven't been in a year. So that's no good for an excuse. Okay, Sissy says, speaking of exercise, I need to start jogging again. The past couple of winters, I've been going a few times a week. The dogs need to move. I need to move. I've been waiting for Kaylee to be old enough to join us with her scooter. You need one of those jogging stroller things. She went with us for just a walk today and kicked my ass with a thing. She is definitely ready. Yeah, yeah. She's 3, 4. Yeah, she kicked my ass too. I'm not interested in fame either. I never have been. I just want enough regular work to pay my bills. Buy shinies from the local shops. Exactly. Yes. Buy all the shinies you want. Um, Sissy, I really appreciated what you said about my artwork the other day. You said something about the models uh, in a situation that could make them vulnerable, but instead they're strong and powerful and they own it, and I own you too, kind of thing. And I really like that, and I went through a long stretch where I didn't draw anybody that wasn't wearing a sword. Okay, it's like, because I didn't want to draw the helpless female. Um, that was a tired out thing. But 20 years of refusing to draw a helpless female kind of entitles me, I felt, to say, well, I'm imagining a planet. There's got to be somebody on that planet that's helpless, and they're either going to be male or they're going to be female. So it's just like I can't. I like to think, there can be some warriors and some other people. So uh, where was I going? But anyways, yes, I try to uh, not draw victims too much. Although I do want to depict uh, adventure stories, something that looks like, yeah, I don't really want to illustrate books and magazines, but I want to produce art that looks like it illustrated books and magazines. And then if somebody decides after the fact that they'd like to put that on their book or their magazine, I'm totally happy to sell them the rights to do that. But that's kind of backwards. And that will happen, actually. If I produce enough finished work, that will happen. Um, and and that'll be cool. But I don't. I've had people tell me before. I guess it's not too much lately, but a lot before, that all my work depicts women who are victims. Who and I don't know what exactly is in their head, because it's just like, I don't think so, but that's how they see it. Sharon says your canal paths are awesome and not super crowded. Um, Not terribly in winter. When the weather's nice, they can be really crowded. We were riding our bikes down the canal at the beginning of quarantine. We were doing really good for a while there, and then the weather started getting hot, and we stopped doing that. And we didn't really replace it with anything. And just for the last few weeks, Stellar's been swimming again, early in the morning. Um, but I'm not doing anything. So I need to do something. I need to get my And I'm not going to go ride my bike super early in the morning because I cannot stand to be cold. You're aware. Um, so, oh, Sissy says Kaylee is going to be about 5 in 2 months. I don't even know when she got so big. Yeah, I, wow. Um, yeah. Why do they do that? They're fine when they can just be little. It's okay. But yeah, yeah. I guess at some point you do want them to grow up and, you know, support you. Um, is it Friday? I believe it is. And if it is, that will make tomorrow Saturday. And on Saturday, we do Zoom. So we're going to do Zoom. 5 o'clock on Saturday. You are invited if you are hearing this message. And I will post the link on my main page about a half hour ahead of time. And Sharon says female victims are a fantasy trope, and that's just what people assume that they are seeing. I think that's pretty much it. You're in this genre. You drew a woman. She's got to be a victim. I've drawn girls like this, and then people later talk about these impossibly enormous gravity defying breasts that I draw all the time. And that's another thing that I think they're just so used to seeing that they'll look at my art and then turn away and they'll remember this other thing that they've seen. And they'll think that, that's what he draws all the time. I really don't. I go out of my way not to do that. Um, and So Sissy's got work this weekend. Well, good, good. I'm glad to hear that. And Sharon's going hiking. So I'm glad to hear that too. But Urgh. all right, all right, you guys have a good weekend. Have a great weekend, and I'll see somebody tomorrow. And take care. Bye bye.